measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken, we just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by, big long list, Neil, Refracted Curvature, Click OK, Len, Jin, Surf Daddy, Arthur, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. No, it's not Flat Earth Debate, it's... What are we in? Flipside Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
How are you?
Yeah, how you doing, guys, in the flip side and in the live stream? Raring to go, raring to go.
You know, it's frustrating. I know you don't like talking about stuff from the pre-show without any interlude, but the simplicity of measurement is, I think that might be part of the rejection that our message is, because it can't be that simple to some people, you know, like they're looking for something else because it is that simple.
I just think of gun metaphors. Like you get a shotgun, you go, well, let's see how effective it is. Bang! Person explodes. You're like, I don't know if is that really enough? We got anything better? You're like, what do you mean better? He's dead. Don't mean anything better than that. You're like, what more could you possibly want?
Surely could have killed him that easily.
Yeah, it was over really fast. Like his head exploded, he hit the ground. No, it's not here anymore. But I don't know if it's really enough. Have you got anything better? Yeah, what? Telling you that it's just measured flat. It's not that serious anymore, right? It suddenly seems like the whole subject becomes benign. And you know what I've got to say for that? Yeah, that's absolutely correct. It undermines everything when you realise how Earth is measured. Once you appreciate that, without exception, Earth's measured flat, it kind of makes everything we've done for 10 years redundant, doesn't it? Like we were just messing around. Like we were being used as conspiratards to be the face of ridicule for the subject so people didn't look at the measurements. But now we've looked at them and gone, oh, his head's exploded, so he's not alive anymore. That's right, yeah, he's got no head. That's right. You don't need... Your shotgun's fine. Yeah, it works, I promise. The flat earth measurements is all you need. If you're coming to this subject for the first time and you've not poisoned yourself with Feast of Nonsense garbage for 10 years, you'll get here and go, what's that? Measured flat? That can't be right. Let's have a little look. Oh, yeah, so it is. And that's the end.
Agreed.
It's important to remember, though, that the last 10 years that have gone by have been successful in making or getting people to be aware of the flat Earth itself. And we did mention the measurements, although we're not articulating it as we are doing now. But so let's not forget that. That's all I'm saying.
I disagree. I think that the last 10 years have been spent making us, as conspiratards, the face of ridicule. so that people can be the subject of flat earth, so that the societies, the groups, the individuals being parts of those groups form a whole that we call flat earth. And that is extremely mockable and ridiculable. That's what I think we've spent 10 years doing.
Agreed. The fact.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree because I don't agree to that.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, this is a up for debate topic in that regard. Like, what was the purpose of spending 10 years looking at how Earth curve is potentially overcome by the distance you can zoom in on a zoom camera? Now, I carefully phrased that so that I didn't include any flat Earth evidence in that statement. But in order to make the assertion, and an understanding of the maths will give you this, which is where you're correct, Jin. Without having gone through the process, we as flat earthers, in the old school sense of the word, wouldn't be in a position to tell you how the argument ends now. So, was it worthy for us to get to this point? Yeah. For next man, I don't think he needs to go through any of that. He doesn't need to learn how the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator works. He doesn't need anything. Just needs to know how Earth gets measured in all circumstances and without exception, and then that man can get on with his day. By man, I mean man, woman, child, whoever it is that comes across this video.
Well, you're going to see some old school stuff when you go over this video today.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. Sorry. Yeah, right down my alley. That's okay.
But you said the impression you gave me in the pre-show when you said go look at this video is that they had lots of flat Earth prerequisites. Were the exact words you used?
They do. But it'll remind you sort of the Isle of Man days a little bit.
Okay, so let me get it straight. They're going to be looking for ball, correct?
Oh, they're going to tell you that this is Earth curve, yes. Looking
Why are we
over Lake
covering
Tahoe.
this? Oh, well, I don't want to cover that. So what you're saying is, check it out. You don't want to cover people looking for the ball curve. Well, look, here's a load of people looking for the ball curve, but they use a load of flat Earth prerequisites. Yeah, they did 10 years ago. Yeah, at the Isle of Man they did, but I just don't want to cover that stuff anymore. Where's the normie? They have not dried up, right? There's more videos about measuring the surface of Earth with elevation angles for the topology, that's surveying. We've got those videos out there. Why go back to the old school crap where they're looking for Earth curve? Yeah, they're using flat Earth prerequisites. And what you're saying is it would be fun to cover the stuff that we were covering for 10 years, but this time around, point out how they need a flat Earth to measure the Earth curve. Sod that. I don't want to cover those videos.
Michael Kahn
a high demand for it. Oh, sorry, Neil.
just say that Michael Kahn sent it to me and just asked me if I could ask you. That's all. You don't want to cover it? Don't cover it. It's only 6 minutes. But they're putting out videos claiming they've measured Earth curve. We could respond and point out all the freaking prerequisites without getting angry.
Well, see, that's interesting. They're claiming measurement. I would like to see their measurements, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's what they're claiming.
Video, you will be laughing all the way. So it's a good video that was referenced there. I put some comments in some of the other people's comments. Most of it was talking about why don't you take multiple shots? What about the weather conditions and the temperature of the water and the temperature of the atmosphere, the air? There were some good comments in there.
What about the Chihuahuas? Did they pet the Chihuahuas?
No, they gave their Chihuahuas a lot of walks and that, and cleaned up the poo and piss that was left behind. Very good pet owners.
All right, he's playing it.
Immediately begging the question. Got 13 seconds of music, and Earth is our spherical home planet. Why are we covering this? You know it's going to annoy me. You're laughing, I'm not laughing. I don't want to cover this stuff. So I've immediately got to cover the fallacy being used before we've done anything.
Well, there's several in place there, because they're using a projection of flat Earth measurements to create the sphere that they're spinning, and then they're using a reification fallacy to imply that they're standing upon it instead of in it. and then their
Oh, that's it.
special pleading policy. Oh, sorry.
No, I thought you got the all, but special pleading is also true.
Hi guys, we're the Robinson twins. I'm Bob.
And I'm Rick.
And we are at South Lake Tahoe at the southern end of Lake.
The what end?
The direction is south.
What does that mean? I don't want to do this. I want you to do it for me. So when I say that, it's my invite for you to point out the flat Earth prerequisites. What's south again?
That's a direction, and a direction is linear.
Not that it's linear, it's horizontal.
Yeah, flat, horizontal.
It's a planar measurement.
Correct.
Okay, guys,
horizontal.
with the beards, yeah? What are you doing? You've just described a directionality. South end of the lake, you say? What's south? Beards. Point south for me. That south? Really? South? Not south. Not south. So horizontally, on a compass, leveled to a plane of reference, you can describe this directionality to describe which end of the lake you're at. The south end. Yeah, don't use our flat Earth prerequisite directionality describing which part of the lake you're on, because you've immediately undermined everything that you're going to say beyond this point. Because the first thing you've done is referenced a flat Earth only description of position, in this case directionality, with the word south. Very irritating. You've just said the world's your home planet. Why on unholy hell are you using a flat Earth directionality then? Is it to piss me off? Probably.
Tahoe on the border between California and Nevada.
And we've been meaning to do this experiment for some time where we
Do what?
It's in a category error, Nathan.
So, lads, the experiment that you're going to do, an experiment is a hypothesis test. That's what it means. Let's come back to that after we shout out Jardo, because I'm going to miss out on his... It's going by too quickly. Quick, can I catch it? Yes, I just caught it. Thank you very much, Jardo, who's on the panel and was talking on behalf of Wayne in the pre-show. Thank you very much for gifting all those memberships. 10, no less. Wow, cool. If you've just picked up a Jardo free membership, shout out to Jardo. Thank him in the chat. Thank you very much for gifting all those memberships. Okay, so back to experiment. An experiment is a hypothesis test. What's a hypothesis? It's a suppositional causal influencer statement, both in the positive and in the negative. That's the zero difference result if A, then B. Zero difference result if A, not B, and alternative, which is if A, then B. That's your suppositional causal influencer or independent variable. And how it will affect the dependent variable, that's your observed natural phenomena. So to go through it in order, observed natural phenomena is step one. It's also your dependent variable in the hypothesis, the scientific prediction yet to be actualized. Your independent variable is your presumed causal influencer, mirrored in the null as not causing the effect you observed at step one. And an experiment, as you've just used the word, is the actualization of said hypothesis. That's to bring into effect your scientific prediction by variation and manipulation of your presumed cause of the effect you observed at step one to see if it does or does not cause it. You can't both simultaneously cause and not cause something to happen, so only one of the two predictions set forth in the scientific prediction known as a hypothesis can be and will be proven. Either variation of A, your independent variable, will cause B, your dependent variable, or you vary A and it does not cause the effect. In either event, you are validating one of the two predictions. Either A causes B, if it does, tick, or A does not cause B. Tick, one of those predictions will be proven. That is the scientific method. What you guys are going to do is set up a camera and look at stuff. in a northward direction. So you're going to describe your directionality that you point in your camera with respect to a plane of reference and call it an experiment. Frickin' outrage.
They may measure distance as well. We'll see.
We come to the lake and prove that it has curvature over a watery surface, over a long distance.
Over a what?
A long distance. Once again.
So as in the horizontal planar measurement ascribed in either kilometres or miles, or metres or feet or yards, or furlongs. This is horizontal and linear descriptions. Like on your maps, when you put your compass on them to describe south or north. So you're going to describe a horizontal distance prerequisite to tell us where there's curvature, violating the base principle that you're using in your axiomatic description of, in this case, distance. No, your distance will prove that Earth is flat because it will be horizontal and linear. That's what distance measurement in this regard will be, and can only be if referenced to Earth.
Long distance. So, off in the distance, the other shore, the North Shore, is 19.5 miles.
That's a flat Earth horizontal prerequisite linear distance in a southward horizontal orientation for directionality. So you're going to tell me that you've got curve at a horizontal distance that's flat in a direction that's flat. You're a pair of idiots. There's no other words to describe these two bearded buffoons. They're idiots. They're using flat Earth measurements to suggest there's curvature, violating the principal measurement that they've described it with. That's idiotic, isn't it?
Yeah, but they used to doing it. You know, like it's a cultural thing to use flat Earth measurements to describe a globe.
Can you explain something? I get it that the elevation angles require the flat Earth. You cannot do it on the curved surface, and I get it. Every single thing about the measurements, I get it. I just need a little bit more explanation on the linear distances of kilometers and miles, because I don't understand how is the linear mean flat, because if you ever measure a curved surface, you will still use kilometers or miles, right? Or meters or inches. So I don't really get that perfectly.
Pardon me.
How did they derive the inch?
Arc? What is the arc of an inch?
There isn't one.
Right. It doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah, no one's measuring curvature, so that statement you made there was completely incorrect. No one's measuring curvature on Earth. No, don't agree with that.
Hey, King, do you understand what John's just said to you? Give me the curvature of a millimetre, yeah. King. Do you know what the curvature in a millimetre is?
The curvature in a millimetre?
Yes.
What is it?
I'm asking you.
I mean, I don't know.
There isn't any. What about in an inch?
A linear function.
Do you know about what about the curvature of an inch? How much curvature is there in an inch?
Oh, I get it now. Wow, I really understand it now perfectly. Yeah. You got me. I get it now.
What do you get?
I get it. Like when I imagine a millimeter, where's the curvature in that millimeter? And obviously, kilometer or mile is just the larger scale of a millimeter or meter or whatever. So it's going to apply the same logic. Like there's no curvature. Anyway.
It's not logic. There's no logical consistency in how much millimeter curvature there is. There just isn't any. There's no logic behind this. It's just how an inch is used. It is flat, in this case, horizontal, linear in terms of its measurement. When they say over there is 16 kilometres away. Okay, that's the flat, horizontal, linear distance between you and the point on the other side of the lake. That's what will be the measurement, because there is no arc of a kilometre, there is no arc of a metre, there is no arc of a centimetre, there is no arc of a millimetre. these things are flat when describing Earth and the distance in a southward direction. So the direction's horizontal, the measurement of distance is horizontal. Now, that's not up for debate. It's not a logical consistency. That's a statement of absolute fact that describes how flat Earth has been measured by these two bearded idiots.
I get it now much better. But what do you have to say about the one you put around your body to measure your fat, like how big is your belly, like that?
You don't get it then.
Sorry, okay, let me just ask you, is that what they've just measured? Did they just measure their beards with a flexible tape measure? Is that what they just described?
No.
Okay, and are we gut debate when measuring waists? Are we tailor debate? Is that what we do here?
Oh, I get it, because the ruler, the one that stretches around your body, it's already built to be.
Are we debating
and
our tailorship skills? Are we tailors here? Is that what we do here? Are we tailoring clothes here?
No.
No, we're not. It's almost like a, what's the word? Like a straw man. Like, seems like it's related to the argument. Well, if I measure my inner thigh, okay, what's that got to do with anything when we're describing the north end of a lake at a certain kilometre distance? Now, that is flat. Why? Because it's directly referencing Earth and its surface. Like when you look on a scale of a map. It's like saying, what if I bend the map? No, the distance that's been surveyed is described in a horizontal linear fashion with miles or kilometres. If there's curve, it's described as a deviation from the horizontal that's marked with an accuracy in miles or kilometres that are horizontal. That's just what they are when detailing Earth measurements.
So basically, when you're measuring with a tape that bends, it also counts as a calculation after the straight ruler that it's already straight, and then you bend it around your body.
It's almost like I didn't say. It's almost like I didn't reply. When we measure with a bendy tape, measuring what again? Are we back to? I've already covered this. We're not tailors. What are you saying? When we measure with a bendy tape measure? Sorry. When would we do that with Earth's surface? Have they rolled out a bendy fucking tape measure? What are you babbling about? When have they done that?
Hold on, even if they...
Go
ahead, John.
The problem he's having is that after you establish the linear function of an inch, a meter, you can take that known quantity and apply it to a material that bends. That does not mean the millimeter and the foot, the inch, the mile bends. You understand?
Correct.
In what context?
That's where people have problems with this bit. It's simple when you say it like that, and we all know, but that's where the guy's struggling. The original measurement of distance is horizontal. That in nature, that's it. It's horizontal and level. And like John just said, you can apply it to some sort of material and bend it thereafter. But its original format, it's horizontal.
Well said there, Deck, and that's new school, new Greek, trying to understand it. We're helping him along. We have to elaborate it more because he's not getting it. New school is old school. There you go.
Okay, right. The old school way would say, well, the amount of curvature is 8 inches per the mile as a squared function. Sound familiar? So, in order to describe this curve that's alleged to be there, we first need to apply it to a linear horizontal distance measurement for the squared function to be derivative of. So, it's a necessity to bullshit about curve that you have a flat Earth prerequisite horizontal distance measurement. Do you all understand? We all whistled past this for years, didn't we?
Yep.
Yep. like a lot of other things, yeah.
Per the mile squared. So we'll need the mile to be flat, horizontal and linear then to move forward in this calculation that suggests curve from a flat Earth measurement in miles. I see. So step one for this inference of 8 inches per mile squared is measure a mile flat then. We need that bit first. Yeah, we do. That's correct. Yeah, we need to measure Earth flat first. But if we all ignore that we require Earth to be measured flat to make this bullshit assertion that there's 8 inches per mile squared of curvature, then we ignore how flat it's required to assert there's curvature. And I'm sick of it. This is already irritating me. Just want to deal with people who are just going out and taking the measurements on a map and applying them to their journey, as opposed to, I'm going to take a flat Earth prerequisite distance of this lake in a direction that's only possible of describing horizontally and flat, and then describe that there's curve from it. It's just irritating. Now, these two numpty dipshits don't realise how stupid they are, but I'm going to start telling them. Richard and Robert, my name is Nathan Oakley, and I'm calling you stupid. Did you not realise that you've already gone through about 3 different flat Earth prerequisites before you've done a damn thing and then called it an experiment? You pair of clowns.
I know what you mean, Nathan, and I sympathise with you. But also, on the other hand, I'm feeling exactly the same way as you, and I'm noticing what they're saying when they're trying to describe things. But isn't it like, I can't find the word I'm trying to say, but I'm not seeing them as, what am I trying to say? But I can't get this out. It's not laughable. It's not annoying me like it's annoying you, really. But when you look at this now, when they're trying to explain curvature and giving you these horizontal linear distances, and let's see where they go with this, it's like it's comical in a way, because they haven't got a clue, have they? I can't get this out. I've got something to say and I don't know how to say it.
Will you ponder that for a moment? We'll play a bit more.
Away from this shore, and we've just went from the North Shore first, took pictures of the area, scouted it out, and actually we scouted it out on Google Earth first so we knew what we were going to be looking for.
Google Earth is a flat Earth measurement as well. So Google Earth gives you horizontal linear distances in their mile and kilometre scales. They describe the topographical changes with respect to that horizontal linear distance measurement in an elevation profile. So you scoured it out, did you? What, you used all of these flat Earth measurements to have a little look around? Go ahead.
It's sad is the word he's looking for. The word that you're looking for, one deck, no, the phrase you're looking for is, oh man, bless your heart. When you see somebody really old do something really dumb, it's it's that feeling of, I should be mad, but this is so dumb. It's like, it can't be your fault kind of thing, you know?
I like saying.
But also, you can measure vertical, like a kilometer vertical, not only horizontal, no, also vertical.
At its inception, it's flat, straight. The inch is not off. You don't care if you wrap a tape measure around the basketball like they're showing you in the pictures. What is that inch at inception? It's not.
Hold on a
off.
second. No, because it's going to come up in a minute because they're going to describe it with respect to their height above surface level. So he's saying, okay, so if you're describing height, what's height?
I mean, I think it's with respect to a horizontal plane.
Right, that's correct. So you're talking about the distance in miles, kilometres, feet, furlongs in the vertical, perpendicular to the plane with respect to the surface level or sea level for it to be perpendicular to it.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, you can have a mile from surface level perpendicular to it in the vertical. But it's just another flat Earth prerequisite that's tied axiomatically to this principle that is so basic. Horizontal and vertical are tied at the hip.
So you look for a particular
That's because
landmark.
the horizontal was the
You might
first.
be able to
like,
see from
it's the
this
base.
shore, and once we got here, we looked for it, and sure enough, we found it.
We were motivated to make the observation now because of this video we saw on January 6, 2025 on YouTube from MC Toon inviting people to come to Lake Tahoe to make an observation from the south shore to the north shore.
But McToon asked people to go and look in directions that are flat Earth prerequisite. Okay, got you so far. Same problem that you've had.
To see if the water would appear flat or if
Appear? Sorry, what is this shit? Appear flat? Sorry, is it about appearances or is it about measurements? Well, if you're going to apply any measurements, we've already got horizontality in terms of the distance when you describe the south end of the shore, and we've already got horizontal distance measurements that you're going to apply to the length of the lake. Presumably, you're going to describe a deviation from it in the vertical, and then give it a rate, like 8 inches per the horizontal mile squared. Yeah, you're going to need quite a few flat Earth prerequisites. The problem is MC Toon is just as dumb as you two bearded idiots, if not more so.
it would follow the curvature of the Earth. He was responding to a $5,000 bet from someone who claimed it would be flat. We'll link to MC.
And will MC2 now be paying him, given that we've pointed out how flat it is required for his assertion in the first instance? No, of course not. MC2's a scammer, a charlatan, a fraud. When he uses flat Earth prerequisites like elevation angle measurements in the form of challenges he lays down for maybe, I don't know, 10k, does he pay up when someone points out that part of his own challenge requires Earth be measured flat? No, of course not. In the face of me presenting that fact to him no less than 100 separate occasions, did he pay me 10k? No. Why are you engaging with this charlatan fraud?
MC Toon's videos in our description. We used Google Earth to make plans.
This is a flat plane that you've put up on screen. There is no curvature. There is only horizontal distance measurements applied to this view. Why are you using this? Is it because when you zoom out, it renders it as a ball? Really? Well, the topographical changes and the measurements of linear horizontal distance would defy that appearing to be spherical. The measurements show otherwise, and you've already utilised them in distance terms and direction terms, haven't you? So, boys, you're going to acknowledge what we've just corrected you with? You're using flat Earth prerequisites in the form of horizontal distance and directionality. You're going to acknowledge me in your video? You're going to put a link to me in your response? Of course not. What you'll do is make little pathetic bets that you won't pay up for, like McToon's done. Didn't matter that I pointed out to him 100 times that he measured Earth flat with elevation angles for his 10k challenge. He required them for the little degree symbols after the numbers that give you angles off a flat plane. Didn't matter that I pointed that out 100 times. Didn't matter that I pointed out when he was out in Antarctica, allegedly, measuring Earth flat with elevation angles there too. Didn't matter. No, I told him personally. Didn't matter. What did he respond with when having this pointed out to him? He said, "Where's the guns, Nathan?" That was his non sequitur response to him measuring Earth flat.
No, he said you deflected with measurements, Nathan.
Deflected with measurements? Well, what about the directionality and measurements that he's now imploring his audience to go out and utilise? They're flat too. He's using them and suggesting these two bearded cretins use them, isn't he? South end? What, south? You dumbass.
All right, what we were going to do first is come in from the north shore.
That's a flat direction. Dumbos. Now I'm going to start insulting you, bearded pair of twats. You're using flat Earth directionality to make your point. It's absurd. Do you realise how stupid you seem to us, you bearded pair of cretins?
And look for
Shout out to Jardo, who's sent a super chat and then retracted the message. What did you say, Jardo? Or did Google retract it for you? Be embarrassed to tell us.
Line Point, which is this point of land on the border between California and Nevada. There's a dock near there, and we were going to take a look at it and scout it out and take pictures. Then we would travel down the east side of Lake Tahoe to the south shore.
Yeah, so you're travelling in a direction that's flat then? Why would you do this? Why would you utilise prerequisites that can only be described with respect to a plane of reference to suggest you're looking at curve? Are you both just too stupid to realise it? Is that what this is? How stupid can globeheads be moving forward?
Nathan, you keep asking the question why. They have to, that's why.
But yes, that is what this is. How stupid can they be moving forward?
Where there's a dock near Camp Richardson, and see how much of the North Shore we could see from there. A closer examination of State Line Point using Google Earth revealed Powerboat Beach, which is where the dock was located, and another landmark we're both familiar with, the Calneva Lodge on the Nevada side of the California-Nevada border.
So what you're telling me, the thing that Globers, psychologists, anybody with a PhD will tell you, hey, obviously looking at something is not proof. And here he goes and says, we're just going to see if we can look at the other side. Like that's all they're doing. Like when a Glober goes out, we're going to look and see what we see. Like that's not where it ends for us. That's ridiculous.
I mean, having a look can have some validity. I mean, I am no gynecologist, but I'll have a bloody good look at it for you.
Can't help yourself, can you, Nathan?
The Calneva Lodge has been closed since 2019, and it's currently undergoing rehabilitation. We accessed Powerboat Beach by coming down these stairs after parking on the street.
Down? What's down?
Oh, dear.
Not rhetorical.
Down is a direction. Down is a direction with respect to the horizontal plane of reference in the vertical aspect. It is axiomatically required to be parallel with the plane of reference for that horizontal to go down with respect to.
Well, can't they go down to a point?
No.
Why don't you just get to the point, though? I mean, I've got out my car, and I've my red shoes on, I've got my brown bag, and I've got my hair all done, I've got my comb, and I went down the steps, and get on with the point, mate.
Well, no. Our point is that they're using quite a few flat Earth prerequisites in their descriptions. So at this point, I'd in all sincerity, like them to pick one of two, and it's the only two choices available to them. Choice number one, get on your bearded knees and accept that you require Earth be measured flat for perpendicularity to a plane of reference for down, for distance, for directionality itself. All of these things that you've already used, you haven't done anything yet, but what you have inferred is how flat Earth is required to be for anything that you'll do for your curve moving forward. So, choice one, acknowledge how flat Earth is required to be, because you're using it in everything that you've detailed so far with any substance. Alternatively, relinquish the measurements that you're about to rely upon to infer sphericity, so you'll have no measurements then. You won't have your distance or your directions to appeal to. You won't have your downs or your heights, because they all require an axiomatic plane of reference to be in any way useful as measurements. So, if you relinquish said measurements, we call that the hard place, where you haven't got any measurements to rely upon anymore. So you haven't got anything to suggest you're on a ball. Alternatively, you can acknowledge for me, my name's Nathan Oakley. You've cucked to tune the pathetic charlatan fraud. Now you can acknowledge me. You have measured Earth flat in distance and direction and perpendicular height. That's what you've done, and you're going to rely on these measurements. So now you're going to acknowledge how flat Earth is and can only be for the measurements you are absolutely without question using. So, Beards, I'd like a response. I'd like a link to my fucking video below it too. And a nice little shout out about how wonderful I am, like you gave Toon. You pathetic pair of bearded cucks. Because I'm correcting you. You've been deceived by a charlatan called Toon. Now you're being corrected with the flat earth measurements that you've definitely used. There's no ifs, buts or maybes about this. You've used them. So, given that you pair of dicks have proven how flat earth absolutely is, because you're using measurements of it, I'd like you on your knees, acknowledging how flat earth is. As used thus far.
The dock we wanted was right there, but it was private and under video surveillance, and there was a $500 fine, so we just stayed on the beach. I made a point of checking out what else was around the dock, including the trees. There were ponderosa pine, incense cedar, and quaking aspen, some of which were 56 feet or 17 meters tall.
Oh dear.
Oh boy.
So, in terms of the height of the trees, you're describing their vertical nature in feet with respect to a plane of reference at the surface level for the perpendicular description of the height of them. Even in your boring cockwaffle asides, you're using a flat plane of reference to be perpendicular to describe the height in the vertical. These are flat earth axioms that you're relying on for your boring cockwaffle about the trees. Are you really this stupid? Yes, you are. You're a pair of bearded idiots. My name's Nathan Oakley. I'm calling you idiots because you are idiots. You're suggesting that you're out measuring curvature, and so far we've got 4 flat earth prerequisites that you've utilised. So I'll say it again. I want you on your knees on the rock that you've already tied yourself to with the measurements you're already bloody using. They're all flat. Like all measurements of Earth, they're flat and can only be flat. What's that? You don't want the height of the trees referenced anymore to a perpendicular plane of reference. Then why did you use it? Oh, you thought you were being interesting. You weren't. You're boring the tits off everybody watching you. But you are still using flat earth prerequisites when you bore the tits off people with your boring cockwaffle about trees.
Then we traveled east around Crystal Bay and then...
Sorry, you travelled around east?
Oh.
No, east. Well, like that direction with respect to north on a compass. That's a flat earth directionality, beard. So you're going to sink to your knees. I want a link to my video, because I've corrected you. You thought you were out measuring curvature. No, you pair of idiots. All you've done is describe 6 ways from Sunday how flat Earth must be, because you're relying on these directions to make your point that you haven't done anything to achieve yet. So before you've done anything, your requirement is that Earth is flat, to describe distance, to describe height, to describe directionality. And I'm sick of it. Why are wankers who deceive and defraud people and lie about bets they're having get away with shout-outs where I get a tramp stamp and told that my kid should be taken off me and reported to social services? It's disgusting. Yeah, it's got to change. Yeah, no longer will we tolerate idiots. That's these 2 bearded dicks. Idiots using flat earth measurements to suggest something that violates the measurements they're using. It's utterly absurd.
ended up at Memorial Point, so we could take a picture of State Line Point.
Oh, well, what do we have here? 4.15 miles or 6.7 kilometres. So that would be a flat, horizontal, linear distance measurement that you've just put up on screen. So we're down to actually having some measurements laid out now for us. And what are they? Are they ball measurements? How much curve is there in this kilometre measurement? How much curve is there in a mile? Oh, none? And you're absolutely requiring it? Get on your bearded, idiotic knees and acknowledge how flat you've got on screen now. This is a flat Earth measurement that you're appealing to suggest how much curvature. Do you not know what a mile is, beards? Are you really this stupid? Did you not look at what a mile or a kilometre was before putting it up on screen to suggest that you can describe a deviation from the horizontal measurement you've got? You pair of idiots.
From the east.
Flat Earth direction.
So here's a picture I took of State Line Point using my smartphone.
I couldn't give a crap. At this point, I'm at the point in the video where I literally couldn't give the tiniest of shites what they've got to say beyond this point. Anybody agree with me? Who cares what they do here forth? Does it matter?
No, it
Well,
will not be
like you said,
removed.
Nathan. Yeah, like you've said, they're using all these. They're telling you all the measurements that have been measured. And using the east, like you've said, and the distances between 2 points, which is horizontal distance over water. And now they're going to probably suggest that if you look at something, there's a little bit of angular resolution, so the Earth's curved.
Did you want to add something, John?
I would just like them to get to where they start applying their calculations, so we can really have a field day. Is there any way to move past
From Memorial Point. Here's one I took with my power shot, and I did a zoom in and got an even closer shot. So you can clearly see the Calneva Lodge from this side of the lake. We determined the lake level was at 6,227 feet elevation. And
Oh, dear.
So we're on number 5, Flat Earth prerequisite. So the elevation level, end quote you. Are you really this stupid? You're using terminology that absolutely without question makes it plain as day how flat the description in your measurements are. What is elevation? That'd be height off sea level. That's a perpendicular plane of reference that you've described on a vertical datum, reference to sea level. Yeah, that's a flat Earth measurement that you're relying upon. So that's the 5th one that you've used. So lads, on your bearded knees, what's that? No, we don't actually measure Earth flat. Well, why are you using elevation with respect to a plane of reference on a vertical datum? Don't think they're parallel to the sea level? Then you're idiots. You just want to chuck out your measurements that you're going to appeal to. Well, then you haven't got any measurements anymore. So you haven't got anything to suggest veracity with a calculation that hasn't come yet. After 5 different flat Earth prerequisites. What an idiot! Pair of idiots. They're basically the same, though.
the top of the Calneva Lodge building.
Man, I don't know. I feel like I got the gin bug because it's like, on one hand, you know, explaining the prerequisites is like awesome. But then, you know, this right here ignores all of the observations of just looking from point A to point B and it being horizontal. Like it's like
ignoring it when it's doing it.
What I'm saying is psychologically, you know, people hear us day in and day out say, yeah, well, the prerequisite is that the earth is flat. And because I don't have, I think people are slow. I think they hear that and they go, yeah, but no. And it's like, even on the other side of this, you got videos like Dr. John D, where you have these 6 windmills or whatever they are, and you can see all of them from top to bottom with a boat behind them.
Yeah, Eli's saying we're ignoring observations, right, Eli? When it's so obvious, like just looking.
I'm not saying we're ignoring observations.
People
I'm
are
saying
missing it.
Not only does the conversation begin with flat Earth, the observation is also defeated by other observations. If we're just doing that.
So this planar observation they're making is defeated by other planar observations?
Is that what I said, Nathan, or is that what y'all heard me say?
No, that's not what he's saying. No,
Well,
it
I
sounds
know
like
that's
to
all
me
I
like
said, but that's
'cause I
what this
wanna- I wanna
is.
be
We're
clear.
talking about
I
this
wanna-
observation, and it is an observation with respect to a flat plane. And you're
Yeah, and I
saying
said
it's
what's
being
crazy
defeated.
is no. What I said what's crazy is even though that's true, and that's the case from the very beginning, from the first sentences and what they set out to do, like people are so slow. They go yeah, 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 and they kind of just ignore the fact that that's the case because
Okay.
they want to see an observation.
I got you.
And
I
I'm
got it.
saying even then.
What you're saying
Right.
is the headline is so buried into the flat Earth prerequisites that people can happily ignore the flat Earth prerequisites because they're just waiting for the observation. They're waiting to have the little looky-loo. So therefore, the fact that the 6,227 feet elevation is perpendicular to a plane of reference, it's describing how high we are from sea level perpendicular to it on a vertical datum. That can be ignored because we haven't had a little looky-loo of a building and maybe how blurry it is at the bottom. Is that what you're saying?
exactly, Nathan. They're looking for curvature.
That's unfortunately exactly how they're thinking.
It doesn't change my attitude towards these two bearded twats. Oi, bearded twats. You've got a description of a flat Earth prerequisite elevation on screen. Now, I want acknowledgement. You felt fit to give a charlatan fraud liar who's put out so-called bets about whether or not Earth's flat in 10K challenges. Who's muttering through the top of me? Now I want acknowledgement.
Sorry.
Now I want acknowledgement. Yeah, we've corrected you. We've pointed out how flat it's required to be by you and your use of a flat Earth. So I'd like a little link to my video and a little thank you. Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, we now do feel like a pair of right bearded twats for using all these flat Earth prerequisites to suggest curvature, when in reality it all falls apart in a place we call hard here on Flat Earth Debate. When you don't have any measurements if you deny them. What's that? You don't want your elevation from sea level, parallel planes, to describe your height in an altitude format, as is on screen now. You don't want that? Then don't use it, you pair of bearded twats! Because you'll get me shouting at you and calling you idiots. What's that? You're grateful for the rock that is foundational in terms of the flat Earth measurements you are definitely using. Yeah, you're going to sink to your knees and thank me for pointing it out where you were too stupid to even realise.
Was at 6,460 feet, a difference of 233 feet.
So you're describing the difference with respect to the parallel planes in altitude? So you've proven with this differential that it can only be flat. That's 6. 6 so far. That's 6 flat Earth measurements. Flat Earth prerequisites. And the last one was a differential of parallel planes measured on a vertical datum for elevation. To describe what you've just given your audience is an unequivocal prerequisite of a flat Earth. It's demonstrable. It's undeniable.
Using an online Earth curve calculator, we figured 166 feet would be hidden over the 19.5 mile distance from the South Shore.
So the height perpendicular to a plane at this side of the lake versus the height perpendicular to the same plane of reference on the other side of the lake with a distance in horizontal miles should give you a calculable curve. Now you're violating the base principle measurement, you pair of bearded idiots. What an outrage.
Leaving 67 feet still visible. So we continued down the east side of the lake to the south shore at Camp Richardson to find the dock to make our observations from. Here's what the dock near Camp Richardson looked like on Google.
Let's just cut a long story short for these pair of bearded twats. Hashtag shit shrinks. Yeah? Now, you're obviously too stupid to realise this, and you think that by using 6 different flat Earth prerequisites and having a little look through your camera about how much is missing at the bottom of a building, that means the Earth curve is violating the base principle measurements you've used? No. Let me break it down for two bearded idiots. If I take a brick and I put it at a couple of feet distance, I can see the brick. Now, if I put that brick at a mile away, there's a fairly reasonable chance that the brick becomes too small to see. That is to say, hashtag shit shrinks. As it moves further into the distance, the brick gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it vanishes. Now, if I build a 100-story building on top of that bottom brick, I still don't get to see the bottom brick. It is still too small to see. That's called perspective. Hashtag shit shrinks. But what's that? You can still see the building on top of it, so it must be Earth curve if I utilise 6 different flat Earth prerequisites, including the difference on a plane of reference for the 2 altitudes at other sides of a lake described with a flat Earth directionality. You're idiots. You don't understand how perspective works. Now, I don't have to entertain 2 bearded idiots about how things in the distance get so small that they vanish. And then you can put things on top of them, and you can see the things on top of them that are bigger, but the thing on the ground, in this case a brick, will still be invisible because it's too small to see at the distance that you're trying to see it. Now, why would I have to explain this to you? You've already measured Earth flat 6 different ways. Yeah, I've got to explain how perspective works, because in your dumb minds, you think because things get too small to see in the distance, at the bottoms of buildings, for example, that means an Earth curve is somehow involved when you've measured Earth flat to infer it. It's idiotic. You're both stupid.
Google
Agreed,
Earth.
Nathan. This
When we
is
got
one of
there-
my favorite illustrations, and I hope it does make the book somehow.
What, the bricks?
Absolutely. It's so everybody can understand that, from your child to these bearded old men.
Well, let me go ahead and get this out there too. If you're doing a calculation that is in contradiction to measurement, measurement is not wrong.
That's correct.
Your calculation is flawed.
That's right. If it don't match with the measurement, you cannot keep the calculation. It has to line up with the measurement.
Yet, meanwhile, to describe how hashtag shit shrinks, that's to say my brick getting smaller into the distance, that will also require a horizontal plane of reference to describe the angular limitation. Yeah? I mean, I could quote Conspiracy Cats in terms of his use of a flat Earth. Oh, I'll give you a flat Earth for that. Yeah, you're damn right you will. It's required to describe the mathematisation of things disappearing into the distance with angular resolution loss. Now, why do I know this? Well, because we've spent 10 years with wankers violating flat Earth measurements to suggest they've got sphericity when they hijack perspective. That's what you pair of bearded idiots are doing. Do you not realise that stuff gets too small to see in the distance? But if you put things on top of that same exact thing that's got too small to see, you can see the thing on top, but not at the bottom, with the angular resolution loss at distance. Hashtag shit shrinks, otherwise known as perspective. Did you not know this?
You know, it's so funny
you know,
that even in 2026 we have videos trying to disprove flat Earth, saying that bows disappear bottom up like that. Like, it's like so stupid. Like, obviously they're hijacking the perspective.
You would
Well,
think that
bottom up is a description with respect to a plane of reference. You're describing the bottom disappearing first.
so why
You can't describe that without a plane of reference.
No. To say there's 3 feet missing, what do you mean 3 feet in the vertical with respect to the plane of reference that are missing? You'll be describing that description of the angular resolution loss with respect to a plane, and the feet that you say is missing that's suggestive of curvature to idiots is also in need of a flat plane. Yeah, precisely.
Go, Eli.
And the thing is, like, why call them 2 bearded idiots? Here's why. Because there's 2 things going off. One, like, I just had this same conversation with idiots in 24/7 yesterday, right? It's the same kind of thing. So person comes with this idea that things disappear because of Earth curve, and you explain, first of all, here are the flat Earth prerequisites. Second of all, insert Nathan's brick example, which I have done. You would think as a reasonable person that at that point, a person goes, oh man, I've never considered that. I know that what you're saying is true. I just assumed that it would be Earth curve. Now, to add to that, you got all this flat Earth prerequisite stuff. That's very interesting. From this point on in the conversation, I will no longer be a douche. You know what happens instead? They ignore everything you said and restart. They might give you another observation of the same thing. That's why they're two bearded idiots. They represent the people that we talk to every day.
We found that the end was closed, but we could still use the deck closer to shore to make our observations from.
Okay, we're at Camp Richardson, the dock for the coordinates for the south end of Lake Tahoe.
What do you say? The coordinates, what are they?
Probably using latitude and longitude, Nathan. No, elevation angles with respect to flat Earth.
So we're up to 8. Still haven't made any assertions in terms of their observation proving their point that we've got a measurable curvature, but we've got positional information that is reliant on Earth being measured flat with elevation angles to stars to give them the coordinates. So your mapping information for your positional data requires Earth be flat. That's 8 so far. 8 measurements, 8 flat Earth prerequisites thus far.
And we believe...
I believe you're both a pair of bearded wankers. That's what I believe. And it's borne out in what you're doing, which is violating the base principle of the 8 flat Earth prerequisites that you've used thus far to suggest you've got some sort of curve. That's not a belief. It's actually a demonstrated fact. You are both idiots. And who's to blame for their idiocy? Well, they credited him, didn't they? They said this was as a result of Toon inviting them to do this. So perhaps go out and blame Toon because he's made you both look like fools.
We are seeing across to the north end of the lake to the Calneva Lodge. We think
there it is again. Flat Earth directionality.
that spot there is the Calneva Lodge building. 10 stories high.
Go ahead.
I want to go after whoever said that goes.
I think he's hot miking.
Eli, can you mute?
Oh, well, 8 stories high means that he's going to have a height in stories off of a surface level plane of reference.
CC, you got to go on mute, CC. Sorry, Nathan. He's just getting in, so he's trying to... Oh, there you go.
Oh, I did it.
Am I good?
Yes. Just to reiterate John's point, he just got lost in a little bit of hot miking. John's saying it doesn't matter if you give the height in stories, millimeters, kilometers, it doesn't matter what measurement. It's all perpendicular to a plane of reference. Saying, well, it's 10 stories high, yeah, that's still perpendicular to a plane of reference. Right, John? That's your point that you just made?
Yes. Yeah. You need that plane of reference to describe your height from it.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter if you gave it in kangaroos. It's still perpendicular to a plane.
You're definitely not seeing the whole building.
Idiots. Hashtag shit shrinks. It's called perspective. Yeah, you notice how it's quite a long way away? Yeah, things in the distance get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until they disappear. Is this a revelation to you? You pair of complete idiots. Is this coming as a shock? Yeah, it's also a sketch from a show called Father Ted. And what Father Ted does with his compadre Dougal is holds up a little toy cow. He says, Dougal, this cow is small. Those cows are far away. Because they appear the same freaking size. And the further away those cows get, the smaller they get. Yeah? Now, let's say we look into the distance at, 5 kilometres. The cow vanishes. But the tower it stood next to can still be seen. What's that? Oh, the earth curve got in the way. No, you pair of idiots. Hashtag shit shrinks. And to describe that angular resolution loss, you'd also need a plane of reference.
Which would be the case if the Earth were flat. We're only seeing like the top half or so.
We took this picture.
That was funny. If the Earth was flat, that's all they've described and give evidence of so far.
Somebody put flat statement of fact into an if statement. That's the problem.
Yeah. Okay.
That's correct.
Well, let's just take that to its conclusion then. So you say if Earth's flat. So what your suggestion is that it isn't. Oh, so you're going to say you haven't got a horizontal distance. You're going to say you haven't got a horizontal direction. You're going to say your height, perpendicular planes of reference on a vertical datum doesn't function anymore. So in other words, hard place. If Earth's flat, so what, you want to get rid of all those measurements you've already appealed to, all 8 of them. You want to get rid of those. Then you've got nothing to base your shite on, have you, you pair of idiots? Yeah? It's called the hard place. Where suddenly, if Earth's flat, it is, you've used them. Those are the measurements. You don't have any option. If you want to use the kilometre distance that you're going to punch into your begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator, then you need to sink to your knees and put a named link in your video. The one where you thank me for pointing out how stupid you were, for suggesting in an if statement that every measurement you've just appealed to isn't correct. Because if any of those measurements have your if applicable to them, you can't use them anymore, you pair of bearded idiots.
Look what it says on there. Lake Tahoe curvature, spherical Earth confirmed. See, the problem is, instead of saying if, they need to say because Earth is flat, this is what we see.
Using a smartphone through the spotting scope's 45 power lens. Clearly, we're only seeing the top half of the building, a 10-story building, mind you.
Oh, Dougal, I can only see half of the cow. Yeah, it's a very long way away. The bottom half is limited by angular resolution, like my brick example, Dougal. You take a brick and you put it a little bit far away and it's just a little bit smaller. A further away brick is going to be even smaller and eventually it'll disappear. But if you then cement that brick into the ground and build another 10 stories on top of it, shockingly, you can still see the rest of the building, but not the brick at the angular resolution limit. That would also require a flat plane of reference to describe the distance that you're seeing the loss. Yeah? Do you understand now? You're as stupid as Dougal on Father Ted. You don't understand perspective. Idiots. What's that? The bottom half's missing. It's not a shock.
So when I go to the Empire State Building and I stand 10 feet away from it and look up, the whole top is missing. Did that disappear behind Earth curves?
It's still above the lake level from its...
It's above the lake level, measured from sea level in an altitude description that you can... Yeah, it's one of the 8 flat Earth measurements. You just put that into an if statement, though. Why is it that you've suggested there's an if statement about these flat Earth measurements? You're still using them. So there's no if about the flat Earth horizontal datum with respect to the perpendicularity that you're using for this height in the vertical, is there? It's not an if statement, you pair of dumbasses. You're using it. You're appealing to it. If it doesn't exist as a true axiomatic statement, that's to say it exists as an if, then you can't appeal to it.
Space. So the calculations of how much be hidden and how much was showing looked pretty accurate. Here's a side view of the county village from the east, and how much we saw through the spy.
So here's it from a closer distance, and it's bigger, and we see more of it. Wow. You two need locking up, like committing, because you're both idiots, like mentally retarded.
Sliding scope. Here's a picture we took through the lens of a 50 power Canon power shot. The waves on that day were less than a foot high, and you can...
Right, the waves were what? Less than a foot high? As in, the description of the height of the waves will and can only be described in the vertical, perpendicular to a plane of reference also. That's 9 flat Earth measurements and prerequisites so far. Oh my God. You two are incredibly stupid. You're reliant on a flat Earth for everything that you're using measurements of, without exception. Everything you've ascribed a measurement to so far has required Earth be measured flat. Everything. Right down to the most subtle of details, in this case, the height of the waves.
You can see only the top half of a 10-story building, and the base of that building is already 100 feet or more above the lake level.
So the description axiomatically requires lake level and 100 foot on a vertical datum, parallel planes of reference to describe its altitude in stories or in feet. Yeah, that's correct. Meanwhile, the bottom of the building is too small to see. It's beyond the angular resolution limit of this camera. That's it. That's the only explanation. Not that I should have to explain this to two bearded idiots. Why am I having to correct them? They're already using, 9 different flat Earth prerequisites to begin with. It's not like they're going to get away from how flat they've already measured Earth, is it? But I've still got to explain to them, yeah, dumbos, are you as stupid as Dougal? This cow is small. Those cows are far away. Are you hearing me? Yeah, I want you to put a link. I want you to acknowledge how you've been corrected with your use of 9 different flat Earth measurements and prerequisites thus far. See if we can get to 10.
So the lake is not flat.
Sorry, the lake is absolutely unequivocally flat. You've measured the horizontal distance across it. You've described directionality with respect to south and the ends of the lake. You've described how high the building is on a parallel plane of reference. You've described the altitude from sea level for the lake itself. You've described how high the waves are off a plane of reference. You've even called it lake level. Are you really this stupid? And are you going to tell me after all of these flat Earth measurements you are relying on that it's not flat? You need committing. Yeah, you both need locking up in an insane asylum. You're both idiots.
Confirmed curvature.
No, you've just seen things that are too small to see in the distance. You pair of idiots.
Thanks for watching. Now be sure to like and subscribe.
No, I'll be sure to call you both retards. Because you've relied on flat Earth measurements throughout the entirety of the video for a 5-second conclusion that violates every measurement you made. You think that's going to get me liking you? No, it's getting you called stupid. That's what it actually got you. Yeah? Now, I'd like an acknowledgement from these two bearded wankers. We've corrected you. We've pointed out the error in your ways. We've pointed out how your measurements are and can only be flat. And I'd like an acknowledgement of those facts. You saw fit to shout out Toon the charlatan. Now you can shout me out. You can put a nice little link below your video. Thank you, Nathan. We didn't quite realise that 9 different flat Earth prerequisites meant that we needed Earth to be flat to make our claim. For the 5 seconds right at the end of the video that we made it. We didn't realise. We were too stupid. So thank you, Nathan. That's what I expect. A nice little link to my video. Not a shout out to Toon, the frickin' charlatan.
And we did get to meet Michael Toon and his wife Tina on January 11th.
Oh, how lovely. You got the smiling goon Toon, fraud, charlatan, shitbag, liar. Was 100 times telling you needed an elevation profile, or an elevation angle, or a horizontal distance not enough for you, Toon? Because I'd say you owe me 10 grand. What's that? You want to deny the flat earth prerequisites and then goon your way into this camera? Yeah, you're a charlatan, Toon. There's no two ways about it. What's that? I diverted to measurements. Yeah, it's the same measurements these two bearded wankers are using, though, aren't they? Like horizontal distance, angular resolution. These are all measurements that require Earth be flat. And you're using them. You're inviting audiences to go out and use flat Earth measurements, Toon. Idiot.
We had spent the day together talking about science and taking some measurements.
No, you didn't. Toon wouldn't know science if it slapped him in the face. He hasn't got the slightest clue. You called this an experiment. Yeah, my memory's not short enough to forget what you've labelled this crap, where you have a little look through a camera and then run a load of flat earth measurements through a calculation that violates the base principle of all 9 of the axiomatic flat earth prerequisites that you've used. Idiots! You didn't do science here. Did Toon tell you that this was science? No, he's a charlatan. No, you didn't establish the cause of any natural phenomena. No. But what you did was pseudoscience that violated the base flat earth measurement principles that you've used 9 times. That's what you actually did.
Of the Earth. It was a good day.
Was it? Did I ruin it? Yeah? Did I ruin your great day with your charlatan fraud friend McToon by pointing out how flat you measured Earth 9 times? Did I put a bit of dampener on it? Yeah, I expect acknowledgement. Lest you be deemed cowards as well as idiots. We're done. Any last comments before I round out for the after show?
Oh, yes, I would like to make a comment. I think this is where you do your good work, Nathan, when you critique a video like this. I know you've been into Flat Earth for 10 years and you're trying to move away from the old school stuff. But I think with the newbies who are coming in and the old schools who may not get it, if you could be less insulting to the thing and more instructive into the way you're delivering, because it's great, highlighted that 1 or 2 fun comments on the characters, it'll be brilliant. And this is your good work. This is what's going to help you along now in your in your future. I think with your book and things coming out. I think this is great what you're doing. This is necessary. This is what's going to help people along here. But you don't want to do this, it seems, and you can tell because the insults are coming at 10 to the dozen. Not necessary, but great work anyway. All the same, just drop the insults. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, when it comes to the insults, people like Toon would have my kids taken away from me. They're the kind of people that report me to social services and suggest that I'm not a worthy father of having children. That's what I get. Now, me calling them idiots is tame by comparison to what we've been told to do over the last 10 years. Drink bleach, jump off tall buildings measured perpendicular to a plane of reference. And literally, on multiple occasions, these bastards have reported me to social services like I'm not a fit father. Now, calling them idiots is the thin end of the wedge. You're right. It doesn't alter my disdain and desire not to cover this kind of crap in future. Yeah? Why would we need to cover it? Somebody else who just measures a distance to a boathouse in the distance and describes how far away it is would use the exact same flat earth prerequisites without drawing a conclusion that there's a sphere blocking the view when we've got a limitation in angular resolution. That's to say, this cow is small, that cow is far away. Yeah, these two are idiots. There's no uncertain terms about what I'm describing them as. They're idiots. They didn't realise how stupid they were till I came along because they were being defrauded by a goon and his wife, who lied to them about them doing experiments. They did no such thing. They just measured Earth flat 9 different ways. That's all they did. So I will call them idiots. I'm not suggesting they have their balls cut off, like it has been suggested to me. I'm not suggesting that they should have their children taken away, like it's suggested that I should have. I'm not suggesting that they get forced off a tall building to prove some gravity force. I'm not suggesting any of these things. Those are the things that have been put to me. I'm just calling them idiots because they are idiots. If they say If Earth is flat, well, then what about all these flat Earth measurements that you've used 9 different ways? You don't want those anymore. Well, what are you basing your garbage on then? Nothing. You haven't got anything to base it on. What's that? You do want to use horizontal linear miles or kilometres and perpendicular planes of reference and the flat lake level to describe how high in feet the waves are. You do want to use all those. Then you can sink to your stupid dumb knees in acknowledgement how flat you require it to be. You pair of bearded idiots. That is what they are.
Yeah, I do feel, sorry to cut you off there, I do feel the onslaught is detrimental to the good work you're doing. It could put people off who are just coming in, and some of the old school as well. You're doing fantastic work. I just think you're ruining it with all the insults.
Ruining what?
In
Let me just address that. Okay.
The delivery of the information.
I heard you.
You're
I heard you the first time. Yeah, ruining.
Sorry, yeah.
I got you. Yeah. It doesn't matter if I am using profanity. It will not change how flat these 2 bearded idiots measured Earth, or how Earth is required to be measured flat by the next pair of idiots that come along. If I get run over by a bus tomorrow, these 2 idiots will still go out and make their next flat Earth prerequisite using video, because that's how Earth is measured. So it doesn't matter if I call them bearded idiots. Furthermore, when you say it's going to affect the person that's listening, doesn't matter. Literally, it makes no difference at all. What's that? You don't like how I, as an individual, speak? That has absolutely no bearing on the horizontal linear mile measurements. Doesn't make any difference to how 1 foot wave is going to be measured perpendicular to a plane, and a 10-storey building is the exact same. How the lake level is perpendicular to sea level. All of these axiomatic principles will remain as facts, regardless of how sharp my tongue is. Or whether or not my sharp tongue means the next man doesn't like how I'm disseminating these facts. Doesn't matter. Literally. If you're that audience member and you go, you know what, I don't like that Nathan's calling me a fucking retard. Tough shit. Earth's still measured flat, it's a fact. You not liking me is what I'm moaning about, because that's what it gets turned into. I don't think Nathan's a worthy father. Let's call social services. What's that got to do with how linear and horizontal the miles are? Nothing. But you're making it about me, and I don't like it. I'm sick of it, in fact. It's disgraceful and inconsequential to the actual facts in the matter. How I spit these facts is utterly irrelevant to how flat Earth is being dealt with by everyone, always and without exception. Whether or not you, an audience member, understand that, or say, I'm going to use the excuse that Nathan said the word fuck 3 times in this video to not get it. I don't care. It will not change how Earth is measured. It's utterly inconsequential.
Yeah, exactly. Forget about it. Bearing that you're colorblind, say you're not colorblind, and me and refracted curvature, we paint my whole house red. And then we both stand back, look at it, admire it, and say what a great shade of blue it was. What would you call us?
Idiots.
Exactly.
Yes, a good example, Neil.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Do you want more viewers, more subscribers?
Yeah, idiots is not bad. Come on, now we're
no. Look, hang on a minute, Neil. I'm not saying that idiot is a bad word. It's coming all the way through the video almost. We can see that they've made their errors. I think it's still anyway. Look, I've made my comment. You know what I got to say on that. You've responded. I'm talking to whether you want more people coming in, more numbers because you're being censored. Blah blah blah. All that. You've got your book coming out. It's up to you. Deliver it as you want. Your show, your way. Good luck. Thank you.
Now I will, when he calls you a name, I'll defend it and say, you don't need to go down that path with Jin. But these 2 numpties, they are idiots. There's bar none.
Fair enough. With that, though, I am going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, gifted memberships, as is the case with Jardo, and all that kind of good stuff. Another massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken, we just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.